Dear aspirants, in 2023, there was a drastic change in the question pattern of questions being asked in UPSC, and there was concerns among the aspirants about the new pattern, how to approach it, and the level of difficulty analyzing the questions. So, one such type of question was the statement based question. But I would say that this type of question, rather than looking it as a new pattern or challenging, I feel that this kind of question or this pattern of question is more advantageous, and there is some opportunity which the aspirants can make use of in the prelims examination. If we are analyzing this kind of question from the 2023 paper, then the upcoming prelims, if you are encountering this kind of questions, your mindset will be ready to tackle this kind of questions, and it might also work in your advantage. So in this video we will mostly analyze this how you can take advantage of this kind of questions in upcoming prelims. When we say two statement questions, the usual pattern before 2023, the most of the questions in UPSC was like, so there will be statement 1, statement 2, and the options or the answer options will be A, 1 only, B, 2 only, C, both 1 and 2, D, neither 1 nor 2. So here the main disadvantage of this kind of question was that even if you're sure or certain about one of the statements, statement 1 or statement 2, still you can eliminate only two of the options and still you are left with the 50% of uncertainty. So it is very difficult to arrive at the right answer only by knowing answer to one of the statements in this kind of pattern. But if you keenly observe in this pattern, so the first statement says both statement 1 and 2 are correct. Statement 2 is the correct explanation of statement 1. Second statement, statement 1 and statement 2 are correct. Statement 2 is not correct explanation of statement 1. It is like statement 1, 2, both are correct. In the second case also both are correct, and there is correlationship between statement 1 and statement 2. In the third option or the C option, statement 1 is correct but statement 2 is incorrect. In the fourth option, statement 1 is incorrect but statement 2 is correct. So it is like this. So if we keenly observe here, there is no case of neither 1 nor 2. Neither 1 nor 2, there is no case or there is no option or there is no possibility of both the options or both the statements being wrong. So if you catch this single aspect, then your life will be easier when you are approaching this question. Let's see how. See, here if you see both these cases, there is only one probability, or there is probability of only one statement being wrong. If you are able to identify that one statement, if you are able to find certainty with one of the statements that this statement is wrong, then you almost are 100% sure that you will be arriving at the right answer. You won't be stuck with the 50-50 probability. I will illustrate this by the examples. See, in this question, India accounts for 3.2% of global exports of goods. And the statement 2 says many local companies and some foreign companies operating in India have taken advantage of India's PLI scheme. So here the second statement is a general statement, and with the recent updates with the scheme of production linked incentive, this statement is right. So the statement 2 is right. We find that the statement 2 is right has been mentioned in A, B and D, right? So now if you are analyzing the statement 1, there is a factual data, that is the 3.2% of global export of goods. So with some basic knowledge of economy and India's overall share in the global trade, so we have not yet exceeded even 2% of the global trade when it comes to goods. But when it comes to goods and services together, we are in better position. But when it comes to only goods, it is not even exceeding 2%. So this is the manipulated data here. If you identify that this statement is wrong, then you don't have to think about this second statement at all. You don't have to be in doubtful condition. If you have identified only one statement as wrong, then stay straight away. A and B goes away from your bin, and one of the options is also eliminated, that is the statement 1 is incorrect but statement 2 is correct. This is the only option you are left with, and in both of these two are contradictory, that is statement 1 and 2, only one of the statements are right here. So we can easily eliminate A, B and C, and we are left with the answer D. We are not stuck with neither one nor two condition at all. So the crux of the idea of this question is that in the statement based question, if you are able to identify one statement which is wrong, then you arrive at the right answer. So I will show with the more examples. See here, the Constitution Day is celebrated on 26th November every year to promote constitutional values among citizens. Yes, when we recall our preamble, in the concluding lines of the preamble, that on this day, that is 26th November 1949, we are adopting the Constitution. So that's the reason that we celebrate Constitution Day. So with this fact, we are sure that this statement is right. But on the other way, if we look into the other statement also, on 26 November 1949, Constituent Assembly of India set up a drafting committee under chairmanship of Dr. B.R. Ambedkar to prepare a draft Constitution of India. So we will be having this knowledge that the drafting committee was set up much before 1949, that is more than 3 years before this date. So when we arrive at the conclusion that the statement 2 is wrong, we don't have to worry about statement 1 at all. So when we are seeing statement 2 is wrong, then it straight away takes us to the option C. A and B are already gone and C and D are contradictory, and you will be left with the option C. There is no neither one nor two condition. So if we are looking into this statement, so there is something called Trade and Technology Council. Recently, USA and European Union have launched Trade and Technology Council. In the examination hall, we might not be able in a situation to recall all the current affairs or the international relations and all ongoing things very accurately. So just assume that you are not able to recall anything about Trade and Technology Council in the examination hall. You are not having any clue. But go to statement 2. The USA and EU claim that through this they are trying to bring technological progress and physical productivity under their control. So doesn't it seem like a vague statement? So any kind of agreement or an institution which is related to trade and technology, they are liberal association or the liberal kind of institutions. Economic liberalism, what does it say? That the free market between two countries, they will benefit both the countries. Both the countries will have win-win situation. They will take advantage of their respective competitiveness. So with this, we are sure that this is a created statement. This statement is purely created. It is sounding very negative. Progress, physical productivity under their control. So this is not at all possible in today's democratic world. So if we are concluding that this statement is wrong, false, then You don't have to worry about the statement 1 at all, even if you don't know anything about the fact about the whether USA and EU are involved in Trade and Technology Council. So straight away you are left with the option that statement 2 is incorrect. That is possible only in C. So the answer will be surely C. You are not left with the condition of 50-50 probability. If you see this question also, according to the United Nations World Water Development Report 2022, India extracts more than a quarter of world's groundwater withdrawal each year. You're not able to recall about this report. You don't remember reading anything like this, a report like this. Then look at the statement 2. India needs to extract more than a quarter of world's groundwater each year to satisfy the drinking water and sanitation needs of almost 18% of world's population living in its territory. Here it is ascertaining the first statement that India has to extract, needs to extract. That means there is some assumption that India needs to extract. And what is the reason they are giving? That it has to satisfy drinking water and sanitation needs of 18%. Okay, we understand that India has more than 80% of world's population, but does it need quarter of world's groundwater just for drinking water and sanitation purpose? So if we apply a bit of thinking on this statement, whether India needs maximum amount of water for drinking water and sanitation, so we will arrive at the thought that no, India doesn't need so much water for drinking water and sanitation. It is the agriculture which takes up maximum amount of water from the groundwater. Even if you don't remember any report or any data regarding this, just by some kind of deep thinking you will arrive at the conclusion that this statement is a created statement or a wrong statement. Then straight away this leads you to the statement C, that ascertains that the statement 1 is right. So in this kind of statement based questions, if you are sure that one statement is certainly wrong, then you will land up in the right answer. If you see this question, the soil in tropical rainforests is rich in nutrients. This creates some ambiguity in our mind because tropical rainforests are very rich in vegetation, lush green forests, evergreen forests. But is it rich in nutrients? If we see the statement 2, the high temperature and moisture of tropical rainforests cause dead organic matter in the soil to decompose quickly. So don't you feel that these two statements are contradicting each other? If the dead organic matter in the soil decompose very quickly, then the tropical rainforests might not be rich in nutrients. So if you are certain that this statement is right, then obviously this statement is wrong. If we conclude that statement 1 is wrong, straight away we land up with the option D. There is no 50-50 confusion at all. So if we see this statement also, this particular question too, the Supreme Court of India has held in some judgments that the reservation policy is made under Article 16 Clause 4 of the Constitution of India would be limited by Article 335 for maintenance of efficiency of administration. So there is some constitution articles mentioned here, and there is also reference to Supreme Court of India's judgment. There might be some confusion with this statement, but look at the statement 2. Article 335 of Constitution of India defines the term efficiency of administration. So UPSC has more often asked this question, which we have already discussed in one of our previous videos, that Constitution of India defines some term. It is more often wrong. Constitution of India defines misbehavior and incapacity of judges. Constitution of India defines office of profit. Constitution of India defines civil contempt and criminal contempt. This kind of statements have been wrong, and In the same way, this statement is also wrong that Constitution of India has never defined efficiency of administration. And even if we think deeply, efficiency of administration is a subjective term. So it is very difficult to define what is efficiency of administration. So if we are concluding that this statement is wrong, certainly wrong, then you straightforward you end up with the right answer, that is the statement 2 is incorrect. It is possible only in this statement. Then one more example. The statement 1 says marsupials are not naturally found in India. Marsupials, we know that they are naturally found in Australia. But whether they are naturally found in India, is there any possibility? We might think for some time and think that this is difficult to arrive at conclusion. But look at the statement 2. Marsupials can thrive only in mountain grasslands and with no predators at all. So in any ecosystem, can we conclude that some kind of species or a category of organism has no predators? So this is very extreme. This is very extreme statement. It is a vague statement, and we can easily conclude that this is a created statement. And when you are certain about one of the statements is wrong, then your confusion about the other statement vanishes. So straight away when you conclude that the statement 2 is wrong, you straight away land up with the option C as your answer. That gives you more certainty that the statement 1 is right, that marsupials are not naturally found in India. There is one more example for this kind of pattern. In India, despite having uranium deposits, depends on coal for most of its electricity production. It is just a plain or general statement. It is saying that India has uranium deposit. It is not saying that India is a top producer of uranium. There is no extreme thing which is being mentioned. Yes, India has uranium deposits, may not be to large extent or a large amount of deposit, but India has, okay. And it is the second part of the statement is saying depends on coal for most of its electricity production. So even if you don't know the real statistics about whether India depends on coal for 50% or 60%, roughly India depends on coal for more than 50% of its electricity production, at least at this moment. So this statement is right. And if you look at the statement 2, uranium enriched to the extent of at least 60% is required for the production of electricity. So this 60% is a factual thing which has been manipulated here, because uranium has the isotopes 238 and 235. Uranium isotope 235 is the fissile isotope. When uranium 238 will be enriched to uranium 235, so it might not be to the extent of 60%. It might be 3, 4 or 5%. The enriched uranium can be used for the production of electricity, or in the nuclear reactors where the centrifuges are rotated in the supersonic speeds. Here one more suggestion from my end is to go through the technologies or the different technologies and the ongoing things with the nuclear reactors, because this is one of the areas of interest of UPSC. Uranium, thorium or ITER, that is the thermal reactor. So everything has been asked in UPSC in PYQs, and this is the ongoing research area. And when India and the world are focusing on renewable energy, so uranium becomes an most interested area for UPSC to ask in prelims. And I shall make a video regarding the uranium and the nuclear reactors alone. So let's stop about this now. So going back to the question, so uranium enriched to extent of at least 60%. So with the knowledge of uranium, and it's isotope, we are certain that the statement 2 is wrong, straight away we end up with the statement C. So this is how this kind of questions, this kind of statements, statement based questions can be taken into advantage, where when we find one of the statements are wrong for sure, then we straight away end up with the correct answer. Thank you.